Okay, one. Yeah, I'm gonna look like I'm being all kinds of fancy with the wind blowing, but it's my little fan. It gets hot out here. So let's see. This is going to be hopefully a quick update. This is the whole little life with Linda thing. And then of course, I'm going to do another way more detailed, personalized, unlisted one for the couple of people who are on that list. So updates, because somebody messaged me recently wanting to know how everybody's doing. So I figured I would go ahead and give an update from the last one. Yes, I know I'm all fidgety, sorry. My Uncle Anthony. My Uncle Anthony was, let's see, they took the ventilator out, gave him a trach, still had him hooked on something to help facilitate breathing when he wasn't breathing properly. They got him out of ICU. Then 2 days ago, I think it was, elevated white blood cell count, which means an infection. They did a culture. We're waiting to hear back about the culture. Yesterday, he's back in ICU and they're having to put the ventilator back onto the trach now. So it's not down his throat, at least it's hooked to the thing here. But he's relying more on the ventilator. They had to put him back into ICU because his blood pressure dropped to a scary amount. They gave him a shot. Blood pressure seems okay. He's at least thinking more clearly from what we know, but he can't talk because of the trach. But he seems to know who people are and stuff like that. We are still waiting to hear about the culture and what the infection may or may not be. So there you go. I don't know. I know I'm a little nervous about it because he is in his 80s, I think 84, and he's in Florida, and Florida has the Delta variant going off the charts. And we have, if you read the news, they're running out of ICU beds and stuff like that. And so it does make me nervous. I would like to say I believe everyone's still going to do what they can for him. But when it gets really crazy, you know, they have to try to figure out the best possible scenario overall and stuff like that. So I don't know what to think. Hoping that it's an infection that he can beat quickly and that once that's taken care of, he can start breathing on his own again and that kind of stuff. But in reality, yeah, prognosis not looking so great for my Uncle Anthony. But, you know, he wants to live. And that's half the battle, I think, sometimes, is how badly you want it. So hopefully things will be okay. Update on my friend Jim. Whew, let's see. That's been a whirlwind. Can't remember what I said the last time. I know that he had the gallbladder issues, was not a good candidate for surgery. They put the tube in the side to help drain the gallbladder. My friend Chris and I did a mad dash down there, which was friggin' hilarious in itself because Chris bought this tiny little Mazda Miata convertible. Dang, I am not a graceful soul. And so it was kind of funny to watch me plop in every single time. By the end, I got better about it, but it's like every time. They're tiny little car, fun, tiny little car. He was stunned because I got sunburnt in the car. And he said that the windows are supposed to be UV protectant. And I laughed and I said, yeah, well, that's my skin. Which is funny because he's also a redhead and he burns, but I burn worse than he does. So go figure. I got to be in a top-down convertible for the first time. Yay, I know. This late in life, and I finally was in a convertible with the top down for a short part during the day. Man, I had hat, everything, trying to protect myself from that evil Florida sun. But I found out I like the top-down convertible at night. That felt good. I like that. So I could totally do that again. So we got to see Jim on his birthday. He wasn't doing so hot. It took a little bit to adjust to, because my friend who used to be mobile, who took care of people, who was just like absolutely hilarious, very animated, everything. He can't really move. He's totally blind. He had that tube hanging out, so you got to see the stuff filling up in the bag. And he's now hooked up to an oxygen machine too. So that took a little adjustment. But Chris and I have known him for a very long time. And so you got the three of us going after a little while, and we had jokes running and laughter. And, so it was good. That part was good. But then we would overtire him. So then we'd have to step out of the room while he could, nap and recuperate. At which point, Chris and I then did everything we could in the apartment, including putting together a dining table and chairs. So that was kind of fun. So at least we got to see Jim for his birthday. Then Monday, Chris and I did the mad dash back home. And it was funny because at one point we almost ran out of gas. Just, I don't know, weren't thinking about it. And I'm not driving, so I'm not looking at it. And Chris says at one point, he's like, oh yeah, I guess at some point we're gonna need to stop and get some gas, but we've got, the range is 80. No, the range is 0. Oh my God, the range is 0. We're taking the next exit immediately, which is kind of funny, because he had looked down and saw the temperature, which was 80 at that moment, and thought it was the range, but we were actually running on fumes, immediately taking the next exit, trying to get to this place. And he's freaking out, feeling bad about it. And I told him that, it's a small car. If it runs out of gas, we can easily push it. He said, we could probably carry it, which is true. So we did that. Well, we didn't carry it. He got there in time, which was good. Looking for a picture, because I'm going to show you where we stopped, because that was something. So we managed to get to the gas station in time. He was nervous because he didn't know if stopping on a hill was going to make the car totally stall out, but it didn't. And so I'm kind of grateful it happened, because if it hadn't, I never would have seen this little general store. This is where we stopped, with this giant pig out front. So of course I did the obligatory selfie with the pig. This store has things like Meathead Hardwood, all these pig product things, not real pigs, obviously. These were like giant sticks of cheese at the register. Oh, that's what I got. This is the store. This is not what you expect attached to a gas station. So I just thought it was funny. So I'm grateful we got to go. That was fun. Got home safe. Everything was good. However, Monday is also when Jim went back into the hospital. Jim went back into the hospital, had an infection around the tube for the gallbladder thing. They were going to send him home with just some antibiotics, but then they did another check. They looked at some more stuff, and they discovered that he had some infection on his feet. And then they said it was bone infection. And then they said they had to do an emergency surgery to remove some toes in order to control this infection. And then that was on Tuesday, I believe, or Wednesday. I don't remember which day, but it was supposed to be like right around noon is when surgery was going to take place. And then it was canceled last minute because his vitals were not good enough. And that had us all nervous. Then the following day, all of a sudden we're alerted he is now in surgery. So they cut off a few toes. I don't know how many. And hopefully that stopped the infection. He is still in the hospital. Have not spoken to him. I've texted And I know you're thinking, but he's blind, but you know, the phone reads the texts. I didn't know whether or not to call him because his mood has been off the charts because of all of this. He's had a lot of issues. He's going to have to go back to rehab to help with the stuff and coping with it. So at least I saw him in his apartment on his birthday. But now we're back to hospitals and rehab. And again, it's Florida where COVID is going nuts again because people are crazy. So I just don't know. So I'm still just in a holding pattern about Jim, but at least I saw him. So yay. After that, let's see, the other thing was my stuff. Yeah, I had an allergic reaction to the steroid pack, but not a horrible one. So I was able to do all of them. Yay. I just, every time I took it in a small amount of time, I would then just be like beet red. I don't know how to explain how red, but like beet red, you could do this and feel heat radiating off of me. It was pretty bad. I got a little itchy, but not bad. No actual rash, no hives. So I went ahead and took the whole pack just so we can know whether or not a steroid pack helps. I have September 1st is my follow-up to find out what's going on, what can help, but I have no idea. I talked to my doctor, let her know how crazy the stuff was, that the CT scan ended up being my knee and not my hip, and not understanding what that was about. And that's when I found out she just put on there to concentrate on the femur because she wanted to make sure the bone was okay, to make sure it wasn't cancer. And I'm like, what the holy heck? Because if she had told me that from the beginning, that would have been helpful. At least I would have known what was being looked for. I still don't know what's going on with my hips. Chances are it's going to be connected to the lower back stuff and how tight all my muscles are. So I'm doing physical therapy, trying to work on that, because physical therapy authorized hip and lower back physical therapy. I mean, insurance authorized the hip and lower back physical therapy, but did not authorize anything for my neck. The spine doctor is more concerned with my neck than he is my lower back. And so that makes it interesting. Started going to physical therapy. The doctor wanted me to go 2 to 3 times a week until we next met, which is September 1st. Insurance said I could go 6 times. So I went 2 times the first week. Now I'm doing only once a week so I can make it stretch until I see the doctor again. Different physical therapy things seem to be helping some and hurting some. There are certain things that are really difficult to do, and I go ahead and do them, and I do think it's making a difference. Then there are things that this last guy told me to do that he explained why they're good, and so I did it, but when I did it 2 days in a row, it made it where I could barely walk. And so I'm not doing that one as much. I'm going to talk to the physical therapist on Friday, because now I'm going on Fridays. So still no actual answers, other than the obvious, hey, you need to relax, you need to, stop stressing, blah, blah, blah. I would love to be able to relax. I would love to not have stressors, but that is just not reality right now. I need a fairy godparent to just like swoop in and then take care of things for me for a little bit. That would be cool. But I might believe in a lot of things. I don't really believe in fairy godparents, but it would be cool. Add to the list for the stressors, we've got my mom again. So my mom has health things. And it turns out that she's always had a partial right here. And so it was a bridge. She had a massive infection here, all underneath the bridge. She finally had the dentist checking this out because she said that there was a gap. She could stick her tongue in between the bridge and the top, which not smart. That's also how they discovered it was a massive infection. My mom can't take most antibiotics. She is allergic to almost all of them. And the most and almost all is the science person in me saying this, because I'm sure there's something we haven't found. But the last surgery she had, she really honestly had to go through an infectious diseases specialist while they tested a whole bunch of them. And for that surgery, they found one antibiotic that they could tentatively use, and she had to be monitored the entire time because they couldn't guarantee that she would not have a reaction to it. This is why anytime there's an infection with her, it gets really scary. So she had this appointment set with her dentist where she used to live, not where she lives now, because in December, I moved her from where she lived to closer to me. So Monday, load her up, drive an hour and a half away. I got a hotel because we were going to have to be at the dentist 2 days in a row. Checked into the hotel, got her all set up, brought her to the dentist, dropped her off, and they removed 7 teeth, like 7 friggin' teeth. Can you imagine that? And then dentures in place. So she wasn't feeling so great Monday night. It's kind of disturbing to watch your mom constantly have blood coming out of her mouth and she keeps spitting it out and stuff. Then the Novocaine was wearing off, and you know she's in pain, but my mom won't take pain meds. She will only take Tylenol. And then Monday I had to inform her she should take it more often because she was saying how much she was hurting, but she was waiting until 12 hours. And I had to explain to her, you're supposed to take Tylenol more often than that. She's like, no, it's the extra strength Tylenol. So I showed her on the dosing thing where it says, even for extra strength Tylenol, you take it every 6 hours. So hopefully she's taking it more right now. Tuesday, I brought her back to the dentist. They take a look at it, make sure everything's okay, showed her how to take it out, put it back in, made sure the stitches were doing okay. And I have to bring her back next Tuesday for another follow-up because they said straight up she's going to have some sore spots in her mouth while her mouth tries to adjust to all of this. But hopefully the rinsing with salt water and stuff like that's going to help with the infection. Hopefully they got most of it out because the dentist still wanted to give her antibiotics, but again, can't take the antibiotics. So we have to keep her as healthy as we can to help her body naturally kick whatever infection. So it's kind of a waiting game at this point. But she's back in her apartment, seems okay. The whole discussion of what soft food actually is was kind of entertaining. I'm not going to go into all that, but trust me, it was an interesting conversation. Let's see. Monday, start back with all of my other classes, the 2 classes for the hybrid. So Monday, I'll be back in the classroom. And Monday is also the first day of the 3 courses I teach for another university. It gets so confusing because for the GMC, the one I do the hybrids for, those terms are 9 weeks long. For ANU, which is the one that I do 100% online, those are 10 weeks long. And right now I am in week 8 of that one. And then Monday also starts my SGSC classes. Those are online and those are 17 weeks long. So it gets all kind of so many different time things to remember. Tutoring starting back up, and I start my new master's at the end of this month. And so I'm getting a little terrified, wondering if I can do it and dealing with that whole, has it been too long? Am I smart enough? Can I understand it? Can I keep up? You know, all the stuff that I think people end up thinking when they decide to do classes. So I have my book and I'm terrified, and I have pretty much almost everything ready for all the classes starting on Monday. So tomorrow I am going to start looking at my textbook, because if I can at least read some a little bit, then maybe it won't be so terrifying once I start. So I guess that's it. I think that's most of the update. I feel like there's other things, but I just don't know right now. So yeah, I'll leave it there. And with that, peace out.